If you had the chance to start your career with a focus on a single area expertise, and this while doing different jobs and being trained and coached by experienced professionals, would you do it? Nanni and Leila are part of our first Career Compass program. They will discover the alternative sector while moving to audit, tax, and advisory. Today, you will get more insights on the program and maybe discover what you would like to do after your graduation. Alexandre, who is a partner in our tax department and joined the company over 15 years ago, will join us as well. He is the one who initiated this program. He will let us know why he thought this program could be beneficial for young professionals. Hi! Thanks for joining us today. How are you doing?
All good? All good?
Yeah, all good.
Thank you for accepting my invitation. I see it's very sunny in Luxembourg today.
Yeah, it's very good weather.
Slight change from the past few weeks.
Yeah, the mood is better as well.
It helps a lot.
Yeah, it's true.
So maybe before we dive deep into the topic, Alexandre, you could maybe explain to us a bit more about the program and why you initiated it.
Yes, sure. And thanks for the opportunity of presenting that in this podcast. So basically, the program is about proposing an atypical career start to some of our new joiners. And basically, rather than starting in audit, tax, or advisory, we offer this unique opportunity to some of our new joiners to basically join a rotational program, which is called the Compass program, where they will discover different types of jobs in our 3 lines of businesses. And actually, I have to say that the program is really successful, and we even start now to propose some evolution, for example, with the recent launch of the recruitment process for a Compass program that will be much more focused on consulting jobs. And actually, to answer your second question on why we initiated that, actually the reason was pretty simple in the sense that proposing this program was for us also a natural way to be aligned with some expectation and what we could hear from some of, let's say, the younger generation and our new joiners. So it was pretty natural, actually.
So maybe now over to Nanni and Leila, you could start introducing yourself very briefly and maybe tell us why you decided to join this program.
Okay, I'm going to start. Leila, I'm 24 and I'm from Luxembourg. I did my studies in Belgium, in Brussels, and after I finished my master's, I wanted to start a career, but I was unsure where to start because with a bachelor and master in economics, it's quite global, the career opportunities. So when I saw that PwC offered this kind of program, I applied, and I just wanted to know how it is to see all 3 departments.
Yeah, so I'll continue. And I'm Nanni, I'm from Rome, Italian American. And I've studied in Rome, the Netherlands, and my master's in France in Nice. And for me, it was very similar reasons because I was interested in working in the field of finance and finance-related industry. But I was, after my master's, undecided where to focus. And I saw that PwC had this new Compass program. Well, I didn't know it was the first time that they did it. But I saw that they offered this rotational program. And in Luxembourg, and I already had a summer internship in Luxembourg, so I already knew I liked the country, and so I decided to apply to this program because it was very interesting to see different aspects of the finance industry, which Luxembourg is really big on, and so yeah, for me that was the main reasons.
Okay, and so as Alexandre mentioned just before, you're like moving teams every few months. So what teams did you join so far and what is coming next for you?
We both started in audit and we will both go to tax.
Yeah.
So our rotation is quite similar.
Yeah, and maybe one thing I can add here to complement, because obviously Nanni and Leila give a small representation of the wider group part of the Compass program. The rationale in terms of rotation and how it's organized is basically to make sure that we have a real split in 3 groups, basically, of people who would start first in advisory, others would start first in audit, and others in tax. So we really have this diversity in terms of exposure on the rotation, on the first rotation. So coincidence here today is that both of you started in audit and goes next in tax, but I just found it important just to mention that we also have, let's say, we spread that amongst our 3 lines of businesses.
And Alexandre, I know that you're also very much involved in the recruitment process. So what does it look like? What can candidates expect?
Yes, but this is a good question, because obviously the program is, let's say, slightly different compared to the typical career start we would have in PwC. So what we wanted to do is really to make sure that we spend enough time with the candidates to make sure on one hand side that they have a really good understanding of what they would expect joining us. And on the other side, also to make sure that we do have also enough, let's say, context and views on the motivation and profiles of the people. So basically what we decided to do for the recruitment process on this program is to recruit people exclusively via the recruitment day we organize at PwC. And in a nutshell, the recruitment day is just about inviting the candidates selected at our premises for a whole day together, where we organize a series of teamwork, of exercises, of interviews, so that we can have more, let's say, view on the profiles of the candidates, on their motivation, and also it's a good time to answer all the questions. And basically also this recruitment day is always a really great moment to spend together, first of all, and also a great opportunity for the candidates to meet the team, the building. For some of them is also a chance to discover Luxembourg, because some don't know the country at all. And I'm sure that Leila and I hope that Leila and Nanni could confirm that, but it's also a good moment to have fun together and to get to know each other better.
Yeah, it is. And also I think it's amazing because you just have everything in one day. So at the end of the day, you know what, if you have the offer, you don't have it, you don't have a long recruiting process, which is amazing because,
Yeah, I remember that for me was, I didn't know that it was an offer in a day. And then they told us that you would have known immediately. And on one side, it makes you a bit more anxious because you're like, I already know at the end of the day, I have to be happy or sad. But it was a really great experience. And then they showed us the building and everything PwC has to offer. And when I did the interview, it was actually pretty good weather in mid-March. So it was also a good day to have an interview.
And also it helps because the people who get to offer you will meet later. So you have the first touch of contact already with the people, which is something that's helpful on the first day.
Yeah.
And actually, thanks for also mentioning that, because I was focusing on let's say on the agenda of the day, but I forgot the key part as well, which was about offering a contract to the people selected at the end of the day. So that's obviously a key milestone, a key step in the day. But as you said, clearly, our objective is also to try to have a kind of short recruitment process and make sure to also offer a contract to all the people selected quite fast, because it's just after the day you spend together. And actually, if I may, Anne-Catherine, I can just add one little anecdote, because it's again a coincidence, but Nanni together with us today was actually the really first of the Compass cohort who received the contract at PwC. So it will always be the special guy.
Amazing.
Yeah, I remember because I had to catch a flight afterwards. And so they invited me first to receive the offer. And it was a bit weird in the beginning because I was talking to other candidates. And so I got called into the room to get the offer. But they asked me not to, let's say, be too cheerful after, because not everybody would have get the offer. And so I talked to other candidates that got hired afterwards, and everybody thought that I didn't get the offer because I just left for them to grab the taxi silently.
And then maybe a question for the three of you, because Leila and Nanni, you went to the interviews. Alexandre, you are doing the interviews. Are there any tips on how to prepare best?
Honestly, the advice that I give to other students is to just be yourself, because I think that's one of the most important things in life. And if you were trying to play someone that you're not, or trying to pretend something that you're not gonna sell yourself. But also in terms of preparation, I looked up the industry, I looked up what the values of PwC are. I already did an internship at PwC Belgium, so I kind of knew the culture that I was getting into. But I think some kind of preparation is fair and also needed. But my advice always to be yourself and to be true to yourself.
Yeah, I think just to add on that is, the same things actually. Like, your personality, just be yourself. But then, network with people that already work at PwC. What I did before the interviews was just contact a couple of people that worked here, mostly to understand more about the culture and the environment. Also to understand if it was something that I could relate to. And then technical side, to read industry reports, maybe just skim through reports on the PwC website and things like that, just to have an understanding of what you're gonna be asked in the technical interview. Because of course you won't be an expert, I imagine, in either audit, tax, or advisory, but at least to know a bit about all three line of services.
Yeah, I think I also looked up, like, for example, all my finance classes and accounting classes, what I've already seen, what I could have been asked, just to know the basics for the technical interview.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that you cover quite a lot already. The point, maybe what I could add here as well is that, and it goes beyond probably the interview piece, but I think what I feel particularly important is also to make sure that the candidates have a really good understanding on what they should expect joining us, joining the Compass program, joining our firm, working in Luxembourg, because the sooner the people are able to project themselves in the type of, let's say, career we can propose here, I think the easier it is for them to demonstrate and show their motivation, right? So and it goes far beyond, the technicality or the level, the technical knowledge and the skill set. It's really trying to project yourself in what you can understand from the country, from the firm, from the program, and just explain why you're here passing the interview and shows your motivation. So I think that would be, for me, maybe what I can add here.
Okay, and if you were to talk to your friends, why would you recommend anyone following this program?
Well, for me personally, when I have friends from the university that maybe ask me about what I'm doing here, and they usually want to apply, and so they ask me a bit of information on that. For me, the main reason is that it gives you a lot of exposure. Well, especially if you're interested in finance, like, it gives you a lot of exposure to what's happening in Luxembourg from an audit, tax, and advisory perspective. And it's a very good way to join a really big and good company, because you're exposed to different sectors, different teams, and a lot more people, I think, that you would usually be exposed to if you join directly one line of service. So for me, that's the main reason why someone could join the program.
Yes, I totally agree with you. But I also add the idea that it's kind of a challenge in itself, because if you start, for example, only in audit, okay, you get used to it, you're having your habits, and it's now that, for example, I'm in audit, I'm used to it. But in 2 months, I believe, I will rotate again. I will have to readapt, which is a challenge in itself, because you're going to meet new people, you're going to have the trainings again. So you kind of start from scratch in a new department, which is kind of not the case, because you take the experience from audit to go to tax, but you have to adapt 3 times, and which is something that I think in other careers it's not that present.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and that's probably also connected to what we were saying before about getting a good understanding on what it is and what you should expect, because there is certainly no best way to start a career. It's always depending on the people, on the individuals, of what they want to do. But clearly, if you're a person who is, let's say, willing to get multiple exposure and to discover a job at the first years of the careers and want to evolve in the multicultural environment in a firm like PwC in Luxembourg, I think the Compass program is certainly a good thing to consider.
Yes, certainly.
Yeah, and if I can add, even if it's not, because in my case, I had a bit of work experience before joining PwC, and I had a master's, and my last degree was an MBA, and still the Compass for me, even if I had some years of experience, I mean, a couple of years, not that many, but it was still a good idea for me to join, because I did want to switch careers from where I was before, and it allows me to enter in a more rotational side and with more exposure. So even if it's not your first job after your master's or bachelor, it's I think it could be a very good option.
Yes, and I believe that you learn very much in a very short time, I would say, because even now I've been 5 months in audit and I feel like I've learned so much more than from the start.
Okay, well, thanks to the three of you for joining us today. I think, Alexandre, we will hear even more about the new Career Compass program focused on consulting in the future. And thank you, Leila and Nanni, for sharing your experience with us.
Thank you for having me.
Actually, and Catherine, just to the recruitment campaign is open for this Compass program with this focus on consulting. So
yes, it is. Exactly. So that's why I'm hoping that maybe you will join us again soon to explain a little bit more about the difference between these two programs, and then we can talk a little bit more into details about that. But yes, for anyone interested in applying, both programs are currently open on our website.
All good. Thanks for the invitation.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Have a lovely day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. That's it for today's episode. And if you don't want to miss out on our upcoming stories, hit subscribe and feel free to share. Let us know what you think. Thank you for listening and see you for the next episode of Casual Side.